An autumn weather pattern has woken up and is crossing New Zealand. Hello, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you very much for joining us. We're following a colder change that is moving up New Zealand at the moment. It's brought a cold morning to those of you in the South Island. It is now moving into the North Island. The lower half of the North Island has the colder air for now, and then overnight it covers most of the country. Although the very north of New Zealand, Auckland northwards, really won't be affected too much by this, but you will feel that temperature change and you'll feel that sort of more humid weather starting to disappear. And there's a big high rolling in as well. That means it's going to lock in that colder air in the South Island and for some parts of the north, and that means frosts. So let's take a look and see what is happening. We'll kick off with the rainfall. This is for today. From 6 o'clock this morning to 6 a.m. Thursday, the area I'm most interested in is over here on the eastern side of the North Island. Unfortunately, the rainfall totals are higher in Northern Hawke's Bay. We'd rather to see them sort of in central and southern parts of Hawke's Bay. That's the driest part, really one of the driest parts of the country at the moment. But it is good to see a little bit of rain in there, somewhere around 15 to 30 millimetres coming in. Unfortunately, up in Northland and Auckland, the rainfall totals aren't so great. Only just a couple of showers really coming through over the next day or so. Temperatures, right, today's departure from normal shows the cold change coming up the South Island as it pushes into the eastern side. The western side, normal temperatures for this time of the year. The eastern side, you're a couple to several degrees below average in the dark blue. You can also see that colder change moving into the North Island, but no real surprise there. The top of the country, warmer than average for this afternoon. But tonight, that colder change sweeps into Auckland as well, so you're a little bit below average tonight. Still fairly mild down 11 degrees, but it's a little bit below average. And down in the south, you got some big frost coming there. We'll talk about that in a brief moment, but well below average in the South Island. These areas in pink, over 8 degrees colder than they should be. And once we get into Thursday, look at this, a bit of a warming up. After a cold start, that frosty start, but then it does warm up a little bit and the colder air moves further up the country, further up the eastern side of New Zealand. So I mentioned the risk of some frost. Now, there are two ways for you to see these frost risks. You can see this map and others like it by going to weatherwatch.co.nz and click on the temperature section. The other way to take a look and see if there's a frost risk for your area is to go to ruralweather.co.nz, and we've got a frost forecaster specifically for your area, so you can check that out as well, or other parts of New Zealand. But as you can clearly see, as we go into over tonight and into tomorrow morning, very frosty around the South Island. The heaviest frost will be in the southern half, and there might also be a couple of frosts just around the central plateau. So don't forget, you can check out those maps yourselves. Here is the Thursday setup. So we'll start off with that colder change that is moving into the North Island. There are those showers pushing further up into East Cape, and maybe a couple might sort of come over into the eastern side of Northland and up around Coromandel Peninsula, caught up in a southeasterly, which is quite dry usually for Auckland southwards. Sometimes the showers do spill over those ranges. High pressure in the South Island, that's why it's frosty, but a beautiful day on the way, and a very slight nor'wester coming back later on. That's why you saw Fiordland leaning a little bit milder than average tomorrow after this cold change. And over in Australia, all this wet weather starting to slide out to the east. By Friday, we're actually in a bit of a in-between zone as a low out to the east develops quite quickly but moves away from us at the same time, caught up in that southerly. And then we've got these warm northerlies coming back in again, windy as well on Friday around the South Island, blustery conditions. But this is all ahead of a very unsettled weekend and a very unsettled start to next week for a number of regions around New Zealand as autumn finally wakes up. You can see it hitting Tasmania there and the southeastern corner of Australia with those windy sou'westers. So as we go into the weekend, rain is going to be the next sort of feature as we get front after front coming through. So this is the rainfall accumulation for 3 days from Friday morning right through till 6 o'clock on Monday morning. So for the areas that need the rain the most, there is not much coming in for this weekend period, only a few millimetres, 2 to 10 millimetres in that area. But over on the western side, in these oranges and reds, you can see that is getting around 25, 35. So it's just your usual showers coming through one after the other. But the west coast has got a fair bit of rain, over 120 millimetres possible in that zone there. So a fair bit of rain coming in over the weekend. And on top of that, we've got snow. Heavy snowfall through the mountains, great for the ski fields. Anywhere between 30 anywhere between 10 and 30 centimetres of snow coming in for most of the mountains along there as we go through the weekend. That same period, Friday morning into Monday. Let's get into the weekend now. Here is Saturday's setup. So we've got a front first thing in the morning that passes across the country. Westerly winds blowing through, nor'westers for Wellington, and a few showers across the country. As we get into Sunday, here comes the next cold front out of the Southern Ocean. So that'll be moving into the afternoon for northern New Zealand, but it'll be hitting the west coast early in the morning with a few heavy falls, maybe a thunderstorm or two, and even some hail could be in that forecast. And it's followed behind by that cold change. So warm nor'westers, colder sou'westers on Sunday afternoon. By Monday, we've got a bit of a stormy system forming here, heavy rain on the west coast, strong winds developing. There could be wind warnings, rain warnings, potentially snow warnings this weekend as well as that system starts to come through. It'll be westerly to northwesterly winds on Monday. That's not too cold, but that blue line you see there means those areas southwards are really getting that Southern Ocean air, so it will be colder for you around that part of the world. And as we get into Tuesday, look at the storm, 954 hectopascals south of the Chatham Islands. That's a big storm, but it is well south of us, but we're caught up on the outer edges of it, and this is the outer edges of it, if you're wondering where that is. So most of New Zealand's caught up in it, so it's a pretty unsettled Tuesday, kind of a stormy Tuesday across New Zealand. There could be severe gales in a number of regions, heavy rain on the west coast, heavy snow in the South Islands mountains, and snow in the central plateaus possible as well. So hello autumn, thanks for turning up. Only took you till almost winter to arrive. That is all from me. Don't forget all those maps are available on our websites, weatherwatch.co.nz, ruralweather.co.nz, or from our free app. And just a note on that app, we've got some big improvements coming up in the next few months. We'll be introducing a whole lot of new features to it and combining rural weather with Weatherwatch. Logical. Let's put them together, make it one very cool app. So that is on the way. That is all from me. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.